Hi, I'm Andrea. Once upon a time, a blank surface was just an empty space until someone decided to fill it with a story. Art doesn't just exist, it does things. It records our wars and our loves. Not just those, it also records our fears and our dreams. From the cave walls of Lascaux to the digital galleries of today, art has walked alongside humanity every step of the way. But why do we create it? What purpose does it serve in our lives?
Some say art is for the beauty alone, a feast for the senses that lifts our spirits and bring harmony to our world. But look closer, and you will find it that carries meanings that stretch far beyond what meets the eye.
And at its core, art makes us question about truth, about value, about who we are and who we want to be. It's not just what we see, it's how it shapes the way we think.
Join us.
As we explore the functions,
And philosophical perspectives on art.
our lesson talks about functions and philosophical perspectives on art. So, for the first philosopher, his name is Aristotle, a Greek philosopher who believed that everything in the world has a purpose. He called this purpose telos, or the final end of a thing. According to Aristotle, nothing exists without a reason, and everything is meant to fulfill a specific function. He explained that a thing is defined by what it does. If something can no longer perform its function, it loses its identity. For example, kung ang lamesa ay hindi na malalapagan ng kahit anong bagay, useless na ito. Without its function, it is no longer truly a table. He also applied this idea to human beings. Aristotle believed that the telos of humans is rationality. Humans are unique because they have the ability to think and reason. By living a rational life, a person achieves eudaimonia or yung totoong kasiyahan. This happiness or true happiness. This shows that function is closely connected to purpose and fulfillment. When applied to art, Aristotle's philosophy suggests that art also has a function. An artwork gains its meaning and value based on what it is meant to accomplish and not only on how it looks. Different forms of art have different functions. Some art forms, such as architecture, pottery, and jewelry making, are highly functional because they serve practical needs. In these arts, function is very important and often defines the artwork. Other forms of art, such as painting, poetry, and literature, are less practical. These are appreciated mainly for their beauty, expression, and meaning. However, even these forms of art can serve an important purpose. Did you know? While paintings and literature are often valued for themselves, they can still have powerful functions, just like Dr. Jose Rizal's novels, No Limit Tangere and El Filibusterismo, that helped spark Philippine Revolution against Spanish rule. Jose Rizal's novels, No Limit Tangere and El Filibusterismo, are literary works, but they also serve a strong social function. They helped awaken national awareness and encourage resistance against oppression. And in general, the functions of art can be classified into three: personal, social, physical, or utilitarian. This function shows that art is not only for decoration but also for expression, influence, and use. Aristotle's philosophical perspective teaches us that art, like all things, has a purpose. Art becomes meaningful when it fulfills its function in human life.
Good day, everyone. Today, I will discuss the functions of art. But before we go to the specific types, we must understand that art is classified into two: the direct and indirect functions. Direct functional art refers to artworks that have a practical purpose and can be used in daily life, such as chair or a building. On the other hand, indirect functional art and direct functional art refers to art that we perceive through our senses, like paintings, or music which are created to affect our emotions rather than serve a physical purpose. First is the personal function. The personal function of art is different for every artist because it depends on the person who created it. An artist may create art to express personal feelings or ideas, especially when they want to communicate something to the audience. But sometimes art is also created for therapeutic reasons to help people express their emotions or simply pass their time. So as you can see in this picture, adult coloring books are a great example of this, as they are used today to reduce stress and serve as a personal outlet for relaxation. So now, let's proceed to social function. Art has a social function when it focuses on the interests of society rather than personal interests. Through art, artists can express protest, disagreement, or any message they want to share with the public. It can also show social conditions by capturing images or situations that people often ignore, which can encourage awareness or action. So in this image, we can see how art can move people and inspire them toward a common goal by highlighting important social issues. So now, the third one is the physical function. The physical function of art is the easiest to understand because this function is seen in artworks that are created to be used for specific purpose. These artworks are made not only to look good, but also to be functional and useful in our daily lives, such as jewelry making and interior design. So a classic example of this is Japanese racquetball. It is a beautiful piece of art, but its main physical function is used for in a traditional tea ceremony. Next is the music as a function. Originally, music had a functional purpose for religion and dance. People believed music helped in worship and calling upon gods. It was also important in dance and even for warriors to keep their marches in sync. But today, music has developed further and is now used for enjoyment, love songs, and movie soundtracks. So this image shows how music is essential in rituals and ceremonies, proving that it has always served a purpose beyond just sound. Next is the sculpture as a functional art. Sculptures have served many purposes throughout history, mainly for religious reasons to present divine figures. So they are also made to honor important people in history and commemorate selfless service to the country. Examples are the monument of Rizal and Bonifacio shown here. Even the coins we use every day are sculptural art because they honor our heroes and important personalities. And the next, the architecture as a functional art. Architecture is one of the most important functional of art forms because buildings are costly and permanent. Their function must be carefully planned in architecture. Form follows function, meaning the design depends on the purpose of the building and the environment. So as you can see, in these traditional Filipino houses, or house, the large windows and coppice shelves were designed specially to allow air and light inside, showing that the design serves a practical need. And that's all for my part, and thank you for listening.
Good day, everyone. My name is Adrian Jay Panganiban. And now let's discuss about, does art have always to be function? While it has shown that most of the art are functional, but not all arts need to be useful. Even though a lot of art does have a job it's supposed to do, but some great art doesn't. For example, the plays of Aeschylus and the poetry of Robert Frost and Edgar Allan Poe are considered amazing art, even if we don't know what the purpose they serve. Their value is come from the art itself, not what it does. But for the art that is supposed to work, there should be a function because it matters. If something is made to do a job but can't do it well, or we can't really call it beautiful because he can't do its job properly. For example, like a house that can't even protect the people from the rain or a spoon that spills food. First, it should have to work properly for its design to be seen as beautiful. It should be worked properly to be called beautiful. Working well doesn't mean it's automatically beautiful. Being efficient is the part of beauty for some functional art. But it's not enough. Art is about more than just doing a job right. That's why it's very confusing. And this leads us to the bigger question. What then really comprise beauty and art? And what makes something truly beautiful? What really makes the world art? And what really is art? At the next topic, we will attempt to provide different perspective on the nature of art. And now, let's discuss about philosophical perspective on art. And the first of that is art as an imitators. Plato, a great philosopher, wrote in his book, which is The Republic, he said that artists are imitators, and the art is just a copy of reality. He even suggests that art should not be taught in school and that artists should be kept out to his ideal society, or the banning of the artist and art in the Republic. In Plato's metaphysics or view of reality, there is a world of forms, where all original, eternal, and true things exist. The object that we see in our world, like the chair that you sit on, are not the real thing. They are the imperfect copies of the perfect chair that exists in the world of forms. The same goes for the beauty. When we say someone is beautiful, we only seeing the imperfect copy of the true beauty that exists in the world of forms. Plato believes artists only strengthens people believes in these copies and stop them from seeking the real things in the world of forms. He was worried about for two main reasons. And the first reason is it appeals to emotion rather than reason. Art forms like poetry and painting stir up feelings and emotion which can cloud people's ability to think logically. Art can influence how people think without using proper reasoning. The second reason is that art is the imitation of imitation. Works of art copies objects from our world, which is already a copies from a real reality, or in the world of forms. For example, a painting of a chair copies the chair that we see around us, which is already a copy of the perfect chair in the world of forms. Because of this, Plato said art and artists should be removed from his ideal society. And but why? So that they can't corrupt people's behavior and values. For him, art is dangerous because it replaces real things we can only reach through clear thinking. So, ayaw ni Plato sa art and artists because he thinks na lahat ng mga artists ginakopy nila yung mga things that around us, which is already a copy from the world of forms. Because parang tatlong dimension or tatlong world, which is yung sa first world, which is the world of form, nandoon lahat yung mga original copy. The things that we see around us, katulad ng chair, phone, or everything, and also the beauty, is the copy from the world of form. 'Di ba? Which is yung second world natin, which is ngayon, itong world dito, is already a copy na from the world of forms. And also, the third one, which is the painting, which is that, three times na na-copy from the world of forms. That's why ayaw ni Plato sa mga art and artists. That's why ayaw ni Plato sa mga art and artists because he thinks that binibilog ng mga artists yung utak natin, which is magre-realize tayo sa emotion rather sa mind natin. He believes that susundin natin yung puso natin kesa sa isipan natin. That's why gusto niyang iban yung mga artists and arts sa ideal society niya. Did you know that Plato thought artists shouldn't be allowed to his ideal society? Because he feared they make people care more about feelings than logic. But he made an exemption for one type of art, and it is the hymns for the gods and praises for the good people. And now, let's proceed to the second philosophical perspective on art, which is art as a representation. Aristotle was Plato's most famous student, and while he agreed that art is a type of imitation, he had a different feeling about it. Unlike Plato was dislike art and thought it was harmful, Aristotle was Aristotle saw art as a something helpful. It could work alongside philosophy to show us the truth about the world. He didn't think art got in the way of understanding what's really important. Take the tragedies for example. In his book Poetics, Aristotle said poetry and all forms of art such as music, dance, painting, and sculpture doesn't try to copy the world exactly as it is. Instead, art shows us what could be all the different possibilities that exist in reality. Unlike Plato, who thought that art is the imitation of another imitation, Aristotle conceived art as representing possible reality or possible version of reality. In the Aristotelian worldview, art serves two particular purposes. And the first is it gives us pleasure. Things that would be unpleasant in real life can be enjoyable when it comes to art. For instance, a terrible situation might be made funny in comedy. And the second is, it teaches us about life. Art is not just fun. It can also be educational and help us understand things about the world around us. Many old Greek plays were made to be do exactly. And now, sabi ni Aristotle, nag-agree siya kay Plato. But he have different way of that. He said that art represent many maraming mga possibilities realities like katulad ng art is nag-show ng mga possibilities na pangyayari or possible things that that would happen. That's why he said that art shows possible version of reality. And dito is makikita natin na maganda yung apekto ng art because art will show us possible reality or art shows us the truth. Yun yung sabi niya. That's why sa kanya kahit agree siya kay Plato, is may different way siya sa different perspective siya about dun sa art. Which is, sabi niya, art will tell us the truth and also possibilities version of reality. Did you know Aristotle didn't just talk about strategies? He also thought music was one of the most important art forms. He believed it could shape a person's character and even help with a moral education.
Good day, everyone. To continue our discussion, let's talk about art as a disinterested judgment according to Immanuel Kant. Immanuel Kant was born in Kaliningrad, Russia on April 22, 1724 and died on February 12, 1804. Immanuel Kant is a philosopher and a professor, and his famous work was The Critique of Judgment. So first, ano nga ba ang ibig sabihin ng disinterested judgment? Kapag sinasabi natin na maganda ang isang artwork, ayon kay Immanuel Kant, hindi natin siya hinuhusgahan dahil may pakinabang tayo rito. Hindi dahil mahal ito, sikat ang artist, or uso sa social media. Instead, na-appreciate natin siya purely dahil sa ganda nito. For example, kapag nakakita ka ng painting at nasabi mo na, wow, ang ganda nito, kahit wala ka namang balak bilhin, that is already a disinterested judgment. According to Immanuel Kant, subjective ang beauty dahil galing ito sa personal na feelings. Iba-iba ang taste ng tao. Pero interestingly, sinabi rin niya na kahit subjective ito, may universal aspect pa rin ng beauty. Meaning, kapag sinabi mong maganda ang isang artwork, inaasahan mo rin na maganda rin ito sa paningin ng iba. Did you know that even though Immanuel Kant thought beauty is subjective, he believed it can be universal. When you say something's beautiful, you're actually expecting everyone else to feel the same way after experiencing it. So, in short, for Immanuel Kant, art is beautiful not because it is useful, but because it gives pleasure to the mind and imagination. Next, let's talk about art as a communication of emotion by Leo Tolstoy or Lev Nikolaevich Tolstoy. He was born in Yasnaya Polyana, Russia on September 9, 1828 and died on November 20, 1910. Leo Tolstoy is a writer, philosopher, and a social reformer. His famous literary artworks are War and Peace and Anna Karenina. For Tolstoy, art is not just about beauty, it is about feelings. He believed that art exists so that artists can communicate their emotions to other people. So, for Tolstoy, art is like a language. Just like how words communicate ideas, art communicates emotions. That's why kahit walang salita ang music or ang paintings, may epekto pa rin ito sa damdamin natin. For example, kapag nakikinig tayo ng sad song, kahit hindi natin personal na experience ang kwento, naiiyak pa rin tayo, and that is art communicating emotion. Tolstoy also emphasized the social role of art. Art helps unite people from different times and places. Through art, we can understand the struggles, culture, and emotions of people who lived long before us. For example, visiting Angkor Wat allows us to feel the history and struggles of early Cambodians. Another example is watching K-dramas. Even though hindi tayo Korean, we still understand their emotions, family values, and struggles. Did you know, while Immanuel Kant focused on how we judge art, Leo Tolstoy focused on what art does. For Immanuel Kant, it's about universal beauty, and for Leo Tolstoy, it's about sharing emotions and bringing people together. For Leo Tolstoy, art is powerful because it creates empathy, understanding, and unity among people. So, to summarize, Immanuel Kant believes that art is about universal beauty without personal interest, while Leo Tolstoy believes that art is about sharing emotions and connecting people. So, both philosophers show us that art is not just decoration. It plays a very important role in human life. That's all. Thank you.